All right, so before this video gets started, I figured I would preface it by what I plan on doing and how I'm going to go about doing it. So, I want a detached garage or shop space for putting cars in and working on them because I have a car YouTube channel and I enjoy messing with cars. But in the back of it, I also want to move my office, like this office right here, right now, because this is going to become the nursery for the baby. So it is crunch time. We're gonna have a baby popping out in like 4 months, so I need to get this garage up and built ASAP. Like I'm really hoping for a month or less. Probably not gonna, probably gonna take a little bit more than that. Um, Also, I want to build a server hallway where, just wall off like the back section so that way I can, put some racks in there and put my mining rigs in there and then like direct airflow and basically recirculate outside air. So now that you guys are caught up to speed, I'm going to show you everything. It's going to be in multiple parts, kind of like each step that we take. So the first step was me looking up my local county zoning ordinance and rules and what I need to put an external permanent structure on my land. I'm not in an HOA, so I don't have to get any kind of HOA approval. But there's two big things for my local area. I have to get a certificate of zoning compliance form, which I'll show you what that takes, and a home building or a residential home construction permit for basically building anything on a residential site over a 10 by 10. If it's a 10 by 10 or under, you actually don't even need a permit to put it in unless you're doing electrical, but then you need an electrical permit. We'll get into that later. So the first thing is that zoning permit because we are definitely being over it. It's going to be over a 10 by 10. And the main reason they want that is so they're want to find the location and approve the location so it's not on top of a septic field or too close to property lines. So the website that I used was mapdevelopers.com/area finder. So you can put your address in here. Once you find your address, you can actually like let's zoom in right here. This isn't where I live. This is just an example. I'm not going to show where I live on here just for security reasons, obviously. But for example, say this is your house. I don't think these are actually houses. Okay, right here. Here's a good example. See, it shows the property lines right here. Say this is your house. You can do draw new area, and I want to place my garage like right here. So you can actually, measure out how long they're going to be. Boom. It'll tell you the feet and everything involved with them. You can actually shrink them down, make them bigger, make them smaller. The way I was able to measure out spots is you can draw a new area and draw one from here to there so you can measure off the sides, that kind of thing. And then you can figure out where you want it in relation to your property lines. So I took this software and then let me switch over here to my other screen. But I took this software, I drew where my shop was going to be in relation to my house. Where are we at? Bear with me real quick. I had my street name on there. I just had to block that out real quick. Okay. And now, boom, there we go. So I just took a screenshot and I drug it into Microsoft Paint. Yes, Microsoft Paint. So here is the street right here. Here's the easement, which is basically not owned by me, but the first 10 feet or whatever is owned by the city for my area, just how it is. My house is right here. My septic field is behind my house. I went ahead and marked that out. And then my new garage is going to be 55 feet off the septic field. It's got 30 feet on this side, 35 feet on that side, and then 35 feet off the back property line. These bold lines are the property lines. So I printed this out and I brought in my county's zoning compliance form, certificate of compliance form. I filled it out. Basically it asked me, name, address, what kind of building I'm going to be putting in, how big is it, and then it said to attach a a layout plan, not the plans for the construction, but the actual layout for where it's going to be located, or location plans. I'm horrible at explaining myself. So I attached this. I was super, super nervous they were going to look at this and just be like, but actually they looked at it and they're like, oh, that's awesome. Thank you for, getting out some like digital plans, blah, blah, blah. Apparently I live in a small town in the middle of nowhere, and people like will write them down on like pencil and paper and bring those kind of plans in, and they're just like, it's not really to scale. So mine's not 100% to scale, but it's fairly close by using that website. And then I just cleaned it up a little bit. Once I printed it out, it looks pretty decent. So as of right now, I am going, they pre-approved me, so now I have to meet with the zoning inspector, which he has to come out and see my pins in the ground, or my, I stake out the four corners, and then he'll approve that. Once that's approved with this pre-approval, then we'll roll on to doing the actual home building residential permit or construction permit. So I'm going to roll the footage now of me outside of my house, showing you where it's going to be, that kind of thing. But I felt like I really needed to clear all that up and explain it right here in the beginning of the video. I don't think I'm going to be handling the rest of those like that. I'll try to be real clear and concise about what we're doing as we're actually doing it. So, yeah, hang along for the ride. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? This is the Brandon Coyne YouTube channel, and today is part one, or the start of building my outdoor, or my detached garage. This will be going behind my house. I do have access to drive up the side of my house. I put me in like a little, road. I'll probably gravel that in later on. I do have my mini excavator here because we were tearing out some little small trees, just burning them right here. I have some more trees to take out. Flipping the camera around though, you can see this is where I propose to put my garage. The first thing that I had to do was go to the environmental health department, because they have to make sure that I'm set back far enough off of the property lines on the sides, because I have a neighbor over there, set back far enough off the property line off the back, and then set back far enough off of my septic field. My septic field's inside of my fence in my backyard. My grass is really tall and I need to mow it. But from the road, I would access my garage and shop. I'd come up my driveway, come over the side, come down through here. This whole area is going to be cleared and smoothed out. I'm going to take down probably that big tree, and then the garage would sit right here. It's going to be a 24-foot wide, 30-foot deep building. It's not going to be a 2-story, it's just going to be a 1-story. And I plan on probably building like a server hallway in the back of it, and we could do some ducting and that kind of thing, and then use the front of it for my car channel, where I can actually work on cars and that sort of thing. Maybe put me a little office or desk over in the other side. So yeah, there's not basically a lot that's going to be able to happen until the paperwork gets sorted. So yeah, like I was saying, the first form is a compliance, a certificate of compliance with the environmental health department. Once I get that and they see that I'm not building too close to the property lines or on top of my septic field, because I guess that's a common problem. People will build on top of a septic field and then it basically ruins a septic field. Once they give me that stamp, which they said they would call me back, it's only $60 to get that certificate of compliance, and then it's good for 180 days. Then I can go and get my building permit. And apparently my building permit, I have to have the name of the builder that's going to be putting up the building, a set of plans for the actual building, and then I just apply for it, like put on my name, and I think it's $50. Yeah, I think that's all it was. Anyway, I'll keep you guys updated as the whole process goes, show you the construction of it, show you what I'm going to be adding to it. I do plan on getting a electrical permit along with the building permit. This is going to have its own electrical service ran to it. Sorry, I was getting a phone call. This is going to have its own electrical service ran to it, so I'd like to drop a full 200 amp panel back here. I want to run an air compressor and stuff for my shop tools, but then I want to dedicate minimum 100 amps at 240 would be nice, to expanding my mining operation in the back of this. Currently, right now in my house, I'm very limited. I have two 15 amp circuits that I'm able to use, but outside of that, the way they wired up my panel, unless I get another sub panel put in and extend it over, I just don't have any room to add to my panel. But I figured instead of adding and putting more thermal load on coming into summer inside of my house, I'll build me a garage, because I'm staying here for a little while, and enjoy being able to have me a little man cave, so to speak. And if I do it right, I should be able to exhaust the majority of the heat and still be able to use the garage for, you know, working on cars. So I'm super pumped. I plan on trying to do a majority of the work myself. I have a little mini excavator. I also have a skid steer, like a bobcat with tracks. So I'm gonna try to take down, there's only one tree I'm worried about, and it's that one right there, just because it is close enough that if it gets away from me, it can actually hit my fence. It won't hit any houses or anything like that. But I got a buddy of mine that does some tree climbing, and he may just be able to drop the tree for me. I don't think it'll actually need to be climbed, but yeah, so life is good. Looking forward to it. Dang, I need a haircut. Holy smokes. Need to put my hat back on. All right, so sitting on my back deck. Gosh, my grass is crazy right now. It's growing really tall. I need to mow that. Just don't look at my grass, all right, guys? Don't look at my grass. But my garage will be back there in the middle. Oh, it focused on my finger. So it'll be back behind my house about, I think I measured it off, and I think it was about 90 feet to the front of the garage. So in a perfect world, I'll be able to drive down the side of here with my trailer, turn around in front of the garage. I'll be able to back the trailer in like where the camper is, because those trees will be knocked out right there. Garage will be in the front, garage doors in the front, man door in the side. Be able to go in, go out. Life is gonna be good. Now, just some reference, I have never dealt with the paperwork side of things when building or in construction. I've been in construction for a while. I do erosion control as a trade, so I'm familiar with actually like hands-on. I have no problem doing that, even though I'm probably not going to be doing the concrete, and I'm definitely not going to be putting the building up. Yeah, I will be handling the trees and the dirt work, leveling out the spot for the concrete, rolling it in, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so I'm a little nervous about the whole inspection process and permitting, because essentially I'm not in HOA, so that's one less thing to deal with. Some people have to deal with living in an HOA, then they have to basically get approval from their neighborhood to allow them to put stuff on their property. But I still have to get approval from the county, and then have it inspected, and it's like a whole rigmarole. But anyway, hang out, stay along for the ride. I'm going to show you guys what the building should look like. I'm going to jump up on my computer, and yeah, so just bear with me.